What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another J-less POV video. My name is Jonathan, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about 7 things that I love about my 2015 Scion TC and around 5 things that I both dislike and hate. So I'll explain that later in the video, but as you guys can see, I'm stationary in a parking lot right now because it's raining really hard. You know, the story here in Houston, Texas, or Richmond, Texas, and it's been like this crazy. So we're going to record as much as I can inside the video. There's also some of this video that I have to shoot from the outside, but if I can't do that today, I'll have to leave it for like a later day because it's pouring and I don't want the water getting all over the lens and stuff, and then, you know, having to re-record everything. So we'll just get started inside the car first. So the way I'm going to do this is that I'm going to do the things that I dislike and hate from the interior of the car first, and then I'll switch over to the things that I love about the interior and the whole, you know, dynamic inside of the car. And then if the weather clears up today, which I highly doubt, but if it clears up, then I'll go outside and then do the same thing from the inside and outside, because I'm not going to be able to record, you know, the dislikes first, then the things that I love due to the weather, and it's not gonna clear up anytime soon. So I'm gonna do it that way for this video. Okay, so before I get started listing things, I'm the type of person that likes my bad news first and then my good news. So that's how I'm going to do it for, you know, this whole video. So getting it started with the bad things that I don't like about this car from the interior, it's number 1 is interior features. I've mentioned this, and yes, I do have my little guide right here because there's too many things and I'm not going to be able to remember them all. So first things first is interior features. I mean, this car comes with a sunroof, as you guys can see, which is awesome, right? I love the fact that the car comes with a sunroof. It does come with the turn signal markers on the windows, as you guys can probably see right there on the mirrors, on the outside mirror, and all of that is awesome. But besides those 2 things, there isn't really there isn't anything else in here worth talking about, right? You do get your steering wheel, which it does have some sort of adjustment to it. Let me get stopped first before I start messing with it. But the steering wheel does have some sort of adjustment to it. You can pull the lever down here, which I'm gonna do in just a second, and you're allowed to, you know, you're able to move it up, down, you know, towards you or away. I have it like in the furthest away possible position right now, because then my arms wouldn't feel right. So down here, you just put the lever, and look, it comes out, it goes up and down. But besides that, I mean, there isn't much that you get in here, and that's pretty standard. I feel like in most modern cars, that's pretty standard. But you don't get much. I mean, you get this very generic Pioneer stereo that, you know, it has Bluetooth. You can connect Bluetooth to it, and I know this is back in 2015. So back in 2015, this wasn't probably a big deal, but in today's day and age, where pretty much everything has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and you get heated seats and you get ventilated seats, you get a bunch of crazy stuff. You know, even this Honda right in front of me, that's probably what, 2016 and up, Honda Civic, and I bet you that has Apple CarPlay, most probably, with heated seats and stuff, depending on the model it is. So it is very outdated in here. You don't get much. You get your window, your mirror controls here, but you don't get much in here. Besides, the sunroof is nice, and, you know, the markers on the outside mirrors is nice, but besides that, you really don't get anything else in here. Interior features are like 0. You basically don't get anything. Okay, so next up on my list would be interior quality. Now, this isn't a shock to me, and this is more on my dislike side of things instead of the hate side of things, because this is something that, you know, when you buy this car, you can see it everywhere in this interior, right? It's just cheap plastic. It doesn't have a very good build quality to it. It's a lot of rattles and stuff in here throughout time. That this one is not as bad, but I've been in others that are really bad when you don't take care of them. So, you know, it's expected. You don't buy this car expecting it to have, you know, Rolls Royce or Maybach level of luxury, but it does have, I would have personally preferred a car that would, because this car's MSRP was $19,999, right, when it was brand new. So it was extremely affordable, extremely cheap. You know, this is a fun, sporty, affordable option for, you know, somebody that was maybe just starting college or for high school. I get it, but I would have personally preferred an increase of $5,000 on the price, as long as it meant a little more, you know, sophisticated interior, I guess, if that makes any sense. But it's not a deal breaker for me. I'm okay with the interior. I dislike it. I don't like the way the interior is set up. I don't like it. I personally do not like it. Next thing, and this falls in the category of hate. I hate this. This car has terrible aftermarket compatibility. Abysmal. It's terrible. You can't find anything anywhere for this car. And yes, if you try really hard, you can find things, but I mean, everything is just basically the same. You can find things. Let me rephrase it. You can find stuff for this car, aftermarket parts for this car, but it's the same thing over and over. There's no variety. That's the word I'm looking for. There's no variety when it comes to aftermarket compatibility on this car. You can find stuff, it's just gonna be the same thing over and over and over, and that just gets boring, because the TC is common for ricer builds, right? Rice builds, right? That's what people like to call them, and that's one. And then you have the really clean ones, right? There's no in between. Actually, there is. It's the people that don't mod them, but the people that mod this car, you have either the really ricer ones that are just terrible to look at, or you have the really clean ones, right? But they all look the same. If you have a really clean TC, if you know, into that category of like really clean TCs, then they're all gonna look the same. But if you have a ricer, they're all also look the same. So like there's no variety when it comes to the aftermarket compatibility of this car, of this platform. Moving on, coming to the exterior, the rain has calmed down just enough for me to do this. The exterior, you know, dislikes and hates that I want to talk about it. I love how the car looks. I love the looks of this car. This is a subjective thing. This is all personal and opinion based. I love the looks of this car. I love the fact that it is a hatchback coupe, right? Meaning that it is a hatchback, but it's a two-door coupe, right? And if you guys look at the roof line, it's flat. It doesn't have like that oval or like that circular shape that the first generation TC had. I love this car. I love the looks of this car. My problem with this car comes trying to get into the back, and this is why it's a love-hate relationship, because I fit perfectly fine back here. Perfectly fine. However, even though I fit perfectly fine, the struggle for me comes on this front seat, right? You have to push it forward, drag it back, you know, every time you want to get somebody in here. And no, there isn't that many people that are gonna ride on the back seat of this car, but I'm 6'1", right? This seat is where I would normally sit in the front. Look at this. I have around 3 inches, yeah, around 3 inches of clearance between my knee and the front seat, right? The front seat, once again, is in my sitting position where I would normally sit at if I was the passenger up here. And please excuse all my junk, but this is all my work junk, but you do get a lot of stuff back here. And if you're like me, who barely goes to the back, I just throw all my junk back here, right? Which it has a lot of space to hold stuff, and it's pretty big back here. It's pretty big, pretty roomy. You get your own sunroof right back here. Your rear passengers get their own sunroof, so it's not all terrible back here. But it's just the fact that it's a two-door coupe design on a hatchback does limit practicality a little. That is, you know, you have to push the seat forward and backward every time you want to get back here, every time you want to get somebody back here. But other than that, I mean, yeah, it's awesome back here. It's a lot of space. It's really roomy, but that's just my dislike on it. Okay, those were my dislikes for the outside of the car and some of the inside. Now let's hop on to the good stuff. I have a few more things that I dislike, but we'll get to those on when we actually drive the car. Now, here's the thing that I absolutely love about this car. So if you come all the way around, right, unlock it, you have your hatchback. And this is freaking awesome. You have so much space back here. I mean, so much space back here. You can fit a bunch of stuff just back here alone. But if it wasn't enough, you can also, boom, drop your back seats forward, which is great. Another thing that I love about it, right, is that your back seat passengers get to adjust their seats back here. This is cool. Look, you want to recline your seats a little? Fine. You don't want them as reclined? Boom, fine, they lock in place. Like, that's cool. It's cool that it has that feature. It's cool that Toyota thought about it, right? Because it's awesome. It's a really, really cool thing to have. The hatchback opens, I don't know, I'm 6'1", about like 8 feet, 9, it's humongous. It's really, really big. So you have plenty of space back here, which makes this car extremely practical. If it wasn't for the 2-door design and just fitting people in the back, and just having to move the front seats back and forth every single time, this is awesome. Literally no complaints back here. You get cup holders on the back, you get 2 speakers on the back. It's awesome. You can easily go on you can easily take 4 people on a road trip in this car. Have plenty of stuff in your hatchback, on your trunk, in your hatchback, for all the stuff you want to carry. Have plenty of space in the people, for the people, you know, your rear passengers. Is awesome. This car is awesome when it comes to practicality. Next up is the looks. I mean, this is once again subjective, but this car to me looks so attractive. I owned an FRS, right? I owned a 2013 FRS. I love how that car looked, but the second I saw this car, for some reason it caught my attention more. There are some angles that it does look terrible. For example, I'm on factory right height right now, right? And it looks like a little monster truck, right? It looks like a little rally car. So this angle right here is terrible. I don't like this angle at all. I've seen them when you lower the car, it completely changes the look from the side. The side profile of the car completely changes it. But it's the angles. It's like the quarter angles of the car, like right here, and you know, the aggressive headlights. And this is a really cool design. Keep in mind, this is a 2015 model. This car came out almost a decade ago, right? 8 years ago. And it still looks pretty modern on the outside. The interior, abysmal. We've talked about that. But on the outside, it looks awesome. It looks really good on the outside. It looks really modern, and it looks like it's gonna keep its style, right? And it's gonna keep blending in for more years to come, because it's really awesome, especially since cars nowadays are going to like this more aggressive and more like, I guess, for younger audience looks, with all the like the scoops and stuff, all the weird stuff that the car manufacturers are doing nowadays. So I feel like this car is going to be able to keep its age really, really well. Unlike the old one, like the first generation, when if you look at the car now, it clearly looks outdated. Not this one. This one has kept its style and its looks very, very relevant. So that's a super, Toyota killed it, knocked it out the park when it came to the looks of this car. Okay, so next thing, 2 things actually, I'm going to knock both of them out the way. So when it comes to the driving experience, one of them is the transmission. More precise, the paddle shifters. This is a CVT, right? This isn't dual clutch. It doesn't have no crazy transmission. It's a CVT, but it is so responsive. It is so good, right? When it comes to the paddle shifter, for example, look, I'm in 3rd right now, right? Paddle shifting. Downshift, and then it just downshifted. It does it pretty quick, considering it's a CVT. It doesn't happen instantaneously, right? It's not like it happens on the spot. However, it doesn't take like a second or 2 like other, you know, transmissions, CVT transmissions for that matter, to shift down a gear when you're like paddle shifting it, which is awesome. The second thing is handling, and I'm in this little parking lot, you know, there's nobody here, so it's safer to do it. So we're just gonna treat it like a little track. You dig in, it is a little wet, I don't want to go overboard, right? But you just, and it grips even in the weather, even in the rain, it grips. So we're just gonna open up a little for this corner, we're just gonna chuck it in. Boom, and then you just step on it, and then it just goes. It's fun, man. It's fun. It handles really, really well. You wouldn't expect it, you know, considering what it is, you wouldn't expect it to handle as well as it does, right? So we're gonna put it back down to first gear. We're gonna signal, right? And then we're clear to go. So now I go. And this is what I mean by the paddle shifters. Losing traction. Losing traction. All right, let me calm down a little bit because I am losing a lot of traction, but it's fun, man. It's just simply fun. There's a lot of gas smell right now, but it's just fun. It's fun. The shifts are actually pretty quick. Toyota did a really good job tuning this automatic. I've gotten the chance to drive the manual, and the manual has so much rev hand given on a daily driving basis. The manual is gonna be way funner than this. But the clutch I do find to be a little weird on the manual, and the shifter is not as smooth as you would like, right? Like the throws and like it's not very well gated. It's weird. I don't know. I enjoyed the manual, but I'd like this for this car, the automatic. Given the manual, it's a little faster from 0, and then it's a little faster. However, if you want to get the automatic in this car, there is no shame, man, because it is so good. Like for example, we're in 5th right now, 4th, and immediately changes down 3rd, it changes down 2nd. It is so quick. Look, gonna upshifted, and then it shifts. Like you hit it, and like there's a slight delay. There is a very slight delay in this car, but it happens so fast. And given the fact that this car is what it is, right? It's not supposed to be some crazy performance car, or this was just supposed to be a daily, nice, economical car, right? That was reliable, and it looked sporty, handled a little sporty, felt a little sporty, and it does. Look, even in the weather, and I am feeling a little bit of like a slip on the front because I'm on summer tires, and this car, it's rain, right? We're in the rain, so that's not particularly the best thing, the best combination right there, but it is fun. It's fun, and I have a blast with this. I love chucking this into a corner because it's fun. Now, no, it's not as good or precise as the FRS, but it's not far off, right? Like it's not gonna put up the numbers that the FRS puts up at a track, but it is not like day and night difference. And given the fact that this has considerably more torque than the first generation FRS, I should add, you know, BRZ, GR86, GT86, whatever. The first generation I should add. Obviously, the second generation has a lot more torque, a lot more power. It's quicker, so that's a different story. But this compared to the first generation, which is what I used to own, is not that bad. And the fact that you have more torque and it's front wheel drive, you have less powertrain loss, so you get a lot more of that torque earlier. You're able to pull out corners faster than the FRS, so whatever you lose in a corner, you gain a little bit on the straight line speed, just on a small track. Obviously on a larger track, on a longer track, you're gonna struggle a lot more because the FRS weights less, a little bit more power, so it's always gonna have a better top speed. But yeah, fun car, man. Look, just it's precise. It's really sharp and precise. It goes where you want the car to go. The front end turns in really nicely. You do feel slight of a body roll, especially like me, you know, somebody like me who came down from an FRS and the chassis on that was so stiff, so much stiffer than this. You do get a slight body roll, but overall, nothing to complain about. It's awesome. I would take this to a track. I had taken this to a track, and I would take it again and have hella fun in the track. No regrets. So just to kind of sum everything up, the things that I really dislike about the car are just the interior quality, right? The interior features that there's, you know, very limited. From the outside, the two-door coupe design, that is a love-hate relationship, because I absolutely love how the car looks from the outside. From a practicality standpoint, from a practicality standpoint, it is kind of, you know, it sucks a little bit because it's not a huge thing, right? It's not a big deal, and it's something that me personally doesn't really bother me because I don't put that many people back there in the back seats. And when I do, it's just, you know, I make them move the seats back and forth. But this is more for somebody who wants the car because they love the looks, and you know, they like everything about the car, but it's just if you're constantly carrying somebody in the back, let's put it that way, somebody's constantly carrying somebody in the back, this car isn't for you, right? Just because it's gonna get annoying to your passengers really fast. That's that. Another dislike about it, you know, is the fuel economy, and this is also a love-hate relationship, and I will go in depth as of why. So in city driving, right, I installed my K&N filter, and at first, like the first 2 weeks, I was getting like 25-26 miles per gallon, but then I really started to settle in. I'm getting 23 miles per gallon right now. Let me see, let's switch over. 21.7, not even, I'm getting 22 miles per gallon, right? Which is sucks, it sucks. But after installing the K&N filter, right, and you know, once you have a new filter and everything's good on your airflow, because you know, if you guys didn't see the last video, go look at it. My filter was terrible, but with this new clean filter, you know, my car on the highway, I hate the fuel economy in the city. It sucks. However, when I'm going in the highways averaging 60 to 65 miles an hour, this car for me does between 35 and 37 miles per gallon, right? 35 to 37 miles per gallon. So I looked it up. I never actually read the manual, I just looked it up. It says that it has a 16.5 gallon tank. If you do the math, that puts you at over 550 miles of range on a road trip on the highway at highway speeds, over 550 miles of range, which is just mind-blowing in a little car like this. And it's awesome, honestly, it's awesome. So that's why it's a love-hate relationship. In city driving, I hate the fuel economy. On the highway, I love it. I honestly couldn't wish for anything else. And it's very comfortable on the road. Let's switching over to, you know, the things that I love about it. It's very comfortable. The seats are very comfortable. They hug you enough, so when you go and start taking a few corners, you don't slide around, you know, you don't slide around them a whole lot. But they're comfortable. They're really comfortable. You can sit on it for hours. I've taken this car on road trips, hours, no complaints at all. You do get quite a bit of tire noise in this car at highway speeds, not that much wind noise. You do get quite a lot of tire noise, but not to the point where it drives you crazy, honestly. I have perfectly normal conversations with my passengers in here at highway speeds. I can answer a phone call, and just the stereo, bring it up the slightest, right? Like around 10, the volume goes all the way up to 63, so you bring it up to around 10, 15, tire noise is gone. So it's not that terrible, which I love, honestly, I love. And speaking of the stereo, I hate the stereo, the actual center thing, whatever the heck this is, because it's so outdated. But I love the speaker system in this car. It's, for the price, I don't know exactly what type of, what speaker system it has. I'll leave that in the description down below, but it's awesome. You don't get that static sound like that you get in a lot of, like, really cheap cars. That the stereo sounds really bad. The speakers sound terrible. They go like, you don't get that in this car. It's very clear. It's very good. It has a nice bass to it. Really good speaker system in this car, and you get a lot of them. You get 3 of them on the doors, right, on the front doors. You get 2 of them in the rear, and I'm not sure you get any more anywhere. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure you get any more, but given how small this car is, that's more than enough. It sounds really nice. It has, like I said, nice bass to it, nice tone, good sound. I love the speaker system. Anyways, that was it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you let me know in the comment section down below, which is what I always ask for. And that's it, man. That's, like I said, it's been all for this video. My name is Jonathan, and you just watched a JLS POV video. Thank you so much.